Hey, what's up? It's Foster and we're at Paragon Performance today because COBB recently announced that Pro Tuning is available for the 2022 WRX. This car's been kind of controversial since it came out. People weren't initially fans of the styling, but as time goes on, I think this car is starting to grow on people. I know it is definitely growing on me. The styling looks better every time I look at it, and the performance seems like it's pretty potent on this car too. Now that COBB Pro Tuning is available, we can really see what type of power these motors can make, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. All right, so for those of you who are new to watching the SubiSpeed content, this is Graham. He is from Boosted Performance. He's an expert Subaru tuner in my opinion, so he's gonna know a lot more than I do about this stuff. But what's the big deal about Pro Tuning and why is that different than off-the-shelf tunes?
It looks to us like, and COBB has kind of hinted or indicated that they left a lot on the table. They don't want their OTS maps to compete with Pro Tuners. That makes it kind of tough for us to sell you a tune and kind of dial it in for your liking. So they left those OTS maps, in my opinion, rather conservative. And already from my testing on this car in completely stock form, on even 91 octane here in Iowa, that's gonna be kind of crummy, there's a lot of room to pick up some power that seems very safe and very reliable to me so far.
That's awesome. So yeah, even with the car in the same configuration you guys saw it on the dyno last time, it seems like there's still gains to be had with the Pro Tuning. So this is a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely. What I'm doing here on the dyno is I'm playing with boost targets and playing with the boost control, which is very different and unique on these cars. They don't use a traditional boost controller that's vacuum and boost driven. What they use is an electronic actuator that literally opens and closes the wastegate with an electronic arm. There will be no Grimspeed 3-port boost controllers for these cars. It doesn't work that way. So that's kind of a lot of what's new on this car and what I'm spending some time on right now. So we went ahead and put some ethanol in it, adjusted everything to run that correctly on the fueling side of things, and then played around with fuel targets, boost targets, and our ignition timing to see what's the most horsepower and torque we can produce with completely stock hardware, just using some ethanol so we're not knock limited. What I've been able to reach so far is a very easy 400 foot-pounds of torque and peak horsepower in the range of 329, happening as early as 4,800 RPMs and holding all the way out to about 5,600 RPMs before it kind of trails off. So basically this thing just has a ton of mid-range punch now. Just from 3,000 and up, it just gets into the power band and really holds you there. It doesn't have a ton of top end carry, but again, we're on completely stock hardware. So that's still really impressive for nothing but some ethanol in the tank and a flash.
All right, we're back at the shop after going to Paragon for some dyno tuning on our 2022 WRX. But before I wrap up the video, I want to go over some of the results because I was pretty amazed by what we're able to accomplish with some pro tuning. And I also want to fill you guys in case you haven't been following the video series where we've taken our car to the dyno several times now. So I want to make some comparisons between the numbers that we got. The main reason why we keep going to Paragon Performance is for consistency and to eliminate a variable out of the equation. So when I'm comparing power numbers, it's going to be apples to apples instead of comparing power numbers between two dynos. So when we first baselined our 22 WRX, we made 245 horsepower and 250 foot-pounds of torque. That's already a pretty good starting point, but we knew at that point that there was more in the car. You could tell it was only making about 12 PSI of peak boost, so we knew that there was more in the turbo, and we were itching to get our hands on some tuning devices. Now you fast forward to about a month ago, COBB released their off-the-shelf tunes, and we went back to Paragon to show you guys what type of power you can make with these off-the-shelf tunes. We tried the 91 octane map and we tried the 93 octane map, and at the end we were able to make 278 horsepower and 306 foot-pounds of torque. Already you could see that this 2.4 liter engine is a torque monster, and I thought after the stage 1 tune we really weren't going to see a huge improvement with pro tuning. But that's really where Graham from Boosted Performance comes into play, because he's a very experienced Subaru tuner and he knows these engines very well, and he was able to extract a ton more performance out of the car that I didn't know was there. So our final dyno numbers from today's session was 330 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque. Now keep in mind that these numbers might change because Graham's still dialing in his tune, but that already is hugely impressive. I can't believe how torquey this engine is, and it comes in just a little after 3,000 RPM, so you're gonna have a very usable power band. So seeing these dyno numbers gets me really excited about the new WRX. There's a ton of performance potential in that new FA24, and I think the WRX really has a unique place in today's market. There's really not a lot that can compete with it. It's got great performance potential, it's all-wheel drive, it's a sedan, and it's offered in a 6-speed, so really what else can touch it? I mean, there's the GR Corolla, which will probably end up being a little bit too expensive for most enthusiasts, and there's the Civic Type R, which is front-wheel drive. So I think the WRX really has a unique place in the market, and I'm happy to see that Subaru is still making this car. If you guys are excited about these new tunes and pro tuning from Boosted Performance, we will actually have that on our website in coming months, so keep your eyes out for that. With that being said, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys next time.